hot and desert's not. Land like this, it's high in trade. Couple freight coming from the sky. Land like this. Travel at night, cold, 'cause it's safer still. See it that high. Water jug.
Aloha everyone, Kamaka Brown here with Monday Talk Story. How's it everybody? This is a series of interesting, fun conversation, sharing the lives and journey of people in our island community wherever they may be. The Sandwich Island Social Network is a nonprofit organization serving Hawaiians and Hawaiians at heart away from their island home, and we gratefully accept tax-deductible donations to support the work we do in the community. And you can go to sandislands.org to find out exactly how you can do that. We are so pleased and so excited to have some of the cast members, principal cast members of the wonderful film The Wind and the Reckoning, and the director David Cunningham. And we want to say a big aloha and welcome to all of the ohana that's going to be with us. I see some folks already popping in. Jump in on the conversation. Join us. Let's have a good time right now. So first of all, we want to welcome Lindsay Wagner. Aloha Watson. Oh my God.
Watson.
Lindsay Watson. Why am I thinking Lindsay Wagner? Stop it. Okay, Lindsay Watson. From she is a Maui girl, upcountry Maui, a Kamehameha school, and we'll be talking to her about her part in The Wind and the Reckoning. Also, Jason Scott Lee, brother Jason, is in his home on Moku Okeawe up Volcano Side. Welcome, Jason. Nice to have you. And then the Jefe, the man that was at the controls and the Luna of the project of Wind and the Reckoning, from his home in Kona, David Cunningham. Aloha, David.
Aloha.
What's beautiful about this is every one of us have born in the islands, or brought up in the islands, and we all are very, very familiar with the local culture and stuff. So usually once in a while I have to kind of talk good English, but Pidgin is my first language, so let's get Basamad if you guys feel comfortable doing that. Because that's why I'm bilingual. Yeah, this guy's bilingual, man. So let me just say right up front here that I saw The Wind and the Reckoning in Honolulu. At the Ward Center, Ward Warehouse down there right by Dave and Buster's. And it was, for this Hawaiian, for this Kanaka over here, it was chicken skin, you guys. Major chicken skin. Waimaka, I had tears when I heard the olelo. And so right up front, I want to say, from my pu'uvai, inside my na'au inside, an amazing project. Mahalo for bringing it and sharing it. The baga is boom out there. So thank you so much for putting that talent and energy, you guys. Amazing work.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start with beauty before anything else, and so let's start with Jason. No, Lindsay.
Jason.
So Lindsay, I've seen you in Finding Ohana. You were Hana in Finding Ohana.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and so Maui girl, upcountry, Kula side, Kamehameha on the Maui campus. And now you find yourself, we had Branscombe Richmond on our Aloha Friday show, and his son, and I met a bunch of the folks there, because they were on Maui too at the time too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're right down the road from me.
Is that right?
Yep, not far at all.
So tell me about your transition now. How does that happen very succinctly, where you bounce from up country Maui, and now you find yourself on the global stage in the film. Uh, how does that resonate with you at all?
It's weird. I won't lie. I never lie about that. It's strange, Um, born and raised on a small island. You're just not sure what's out there in the world. And my parents always thought I was weird because I still don't even know where it came from that I wanted to join acting. I think I watched TV too much growing up, but as soon as I kind of had that idea in my head, I kind of just followed it. I didn't know what to do, how to do it. Obviously, there wasn't much acting in Hawaii at that time. It was very different. So I knew I had to go somewhere else to do it. And I looked it up online. I talked to as many people as I knew. And I kind of just took a big leap when I graduated. Yeah, I graduated Kamehameha 2013. And everyone, senior year, they prep you for college and everything like that. And I was the only one. I did the whole college applications. I got into acting schools and everything. And I was pretty lucky. I talked to some people who gave me advice to just kind of focus on getting into the industry and focus on getting an agent and manager. And all this was new to me, but I was lucky to talk to the right people and get the advice right away. And I literally moved to LA with no plan, no idea, no parents. I was 18 by myself. And I just used my tenacity of what I was taught growing up to kind of just be nice to people, talk to people, and figure it out. And I stumbled and I fell. And I kind of figured out how LA is very different from home. But, again, same thing. You kind of find your people. And I was super lucky living out here in LA that I kind of stumbled into a right group of Hawaiians and locals. And then when I fell into finding ohana, that really opened up this whole world of like what we call poly LA, that they're all out here and we got to find them. And I got my little group out here and we hang out, we talk story, we go and eat all the time. We have parties. So it's been cool. It helped me kind of make this transition livable and survive out here because it's very different from home. That's all I can say.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that proverbial fish out of water, you solved that by and the resonating factor. I love it. Not to be. I'm popular for my dad puns. You did find your ohana,
There you go. Right? Exactly.
you did find your ohana. And I was talking with someone. Right? Talking with someone who goes, "Oh, so are you in Honolulu?" And I go, "No, I'm in LA." He goes, "Oh, wow." I said, you can take the boy out of the country, but you cannot take the country or you cannot take the Hawaiian, right? Out of it. So we find.
Yeah. Right? We figure it out.
And people don't understand. Yeah, I get excited when I see somebody with an ikaika on the, on the rear view mirror, or they get one.
Yeah.
Bumper sticker. You got to go. Hey, like that. I was with a haole friend. He goes, Do you know those people? I go, no. He goes, then why are you doing the hang loose? I go, bruh, it's not hang loose. That's shaka. Okay, stop it. I go, oh, well, we call it hang loose. They don't understand how we have this sense of community, right?
Yeah, I know. I see them around LA. It's funny. Anytime we see like the Hawaiian Island sticker or like the Hawaii license plate, we're like, who's that? Who's that? Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes we know who they are, so it's pretty funny. You think like you're not gonna know.
Oh, that's my cousin. You're kidding? No, he lives in Santa Monica. You Hawaiians, I don't understand.
Exactly.
Well, you have made a wonderful look at you. It is as that transition, and you bring that glow and that aloha spirit, and with class, and mahalo for representing
Thank you.
the next generation of great actors that represent Hawaii, and us Makuli guys look back and we go, right on, we love it, man. We love it.
That's the goal.
That's it. When the kupuna look and they go, they do this either, who she think her? or they go, ooh, that one. Oh, I like just hug her. Then you know, right? Then you know. Okay,
I go,
you know
I
what?
hope so.
A lot of our ohana have been checking in, so we're going to take a moment to recognize them. We get Marty Burns saying, Aloha kako. Our brother,
Oh.
he has a pop-up bake shop called Brook the Mount Bake Shop, and brother can bake, man. He is on it. He is
Oh.
on it. Here is Abella Lealoha. Aloha and happy lady kako. She is a hula dancer. Beautiful. She dances when she be dancing every time Henry Capono comes up. Henry calls her to dance on his show. She is a beautiful dancer. Welcome, Bella. Love having you. Um, Catherine Bachnight is a filmmaker. She and Leon Seo. She said, "Great to see you
Oh.
all. Fabulous movie. I saw it a few months ago with Leon Seo. We hung out after the film. So happy for your success." Catherine is a great friend of
Oh.
ours. She has her movie, Hawaii Voice of Sovereignty, that is there. And we're working on getting that re-released. It is a beautiful, beautiful project that Catherine put together.
Wow.
So welcome, Catherine. Thank you for joining us over here. Boy, the comments are coming in awesome. Faith Ako, our Laia girl up in the Bay Area. Thank you, David Cunningham. That's Faith. She has a beautiful voice and she plays music wonderful. Here is Pulalea Hanamaikai. Pulalea lives in Kohala on Moku Okeawe. She is a hula dancer, works for Kamehameha School. She's part of our ohana as well. So she's
Hey.
all the ohana is checking in, man, checking in over here. Yeah, Faith is going, Chee-hoo! That's her. That's her. and here's Sisi Puanani. She's saying aloha. She's showing the shaka sign. And if I miss anybody, e kalamai. The comments are coming in fast. And I think I pretty much got everyone I wanted to. Oh, there is C Honda. Excited to see you all. Thanks for being here with Kamaka. C Honda works with Andy Bumatai on his Daily Pigeon show. She's one of the moderators. And so she
Oh.
drops in to check out what's going on over here. So welcome. So Kalamai, if I, here's Kahiao. Kahiao. She is part of our ohana. Happy to see all of you here today. We love Kahiao. She is also part of our ohana. If I miss anybody, Kalamai, I tried to get to everyone, and we will do another round in just a little bit. So, yes, thank you for bringing us up to date. I want to come back to you, Lindsay, in just a little bit when we get to talking about the Wind and the Reckoning and your share in that project. And I'd like to go to Brother Jason Scott Lee. Good to see you, you handsome bugger. You gone funny. Every time I see you, you getting more handsome and more handsome. Last time I saw you, and I was up your house, Volcano. You were single, and you still had the Ulua Theater going. You have since acquired a partner in life and some keiki as well. So tell us, how is life for you up there in Volcano? I know you split between Hong Kong and Big Island, yeah?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in Singapore, actually.
Singapore, excuse me.
And yeah, so yeah, it's awesome. You know, it's hard juggling, you know, the homestead here up in the Kuivis, and and doing, you know, and trying to do like you know, the traveling, and then, you know, also we've been pushing our film, The Wind and the Wrecking, a lot. So we've been on the road with that, and you know, try to hopscotch to all the different places to present it. And yeah, it's tricky. It's the first time I've ever done that, actually, for any film. And you know, all the films that I have been a part of, I've never had this opportunity to, you know, really kind of run with a movie and really try to present it in a really golden light, because I think it's one of these films that deserves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
it's good. Family life is good. It's all good.
Nice.
You know, we just keep busy, and you know, still got the kalo in the ground, and
Nice.
still got the fruit trees of pruning, and mulching everything. Got my kids mulching. Got my kids in the garden and pulling slugs and bugs off the plants at night. So it's their camping without camping. got a lot of got a lot of pua'a coming through the property, so no need
Oh,
get dogs.
yeah.
So,
Ooh.
for go hunt. they all
come
come.
to you-
They all
they come
come
to
to
you.
us.
That's like when I was living in Big Island. I was living up behind Konawaina High School. You go all the way up to Greenwell Ranch, all the way up, and I was renting a small place in the macadamia nut grove over there. And nighttime, the pigs all come down because they love the macadamia nuts. You just crack them open, shows you how strong their jaws are. And the hunters love it because the pigs that eat the macadamia nuts, the meat is so sweet because of their diet. Yeah, the macadamia nuts, and so they were like.
Yeah.
That they come down to the macadamia farm, and of course, Greener Ranch is private, so only their friends can come. But they used to come down. Hey, Kamaka, you like some? You like some pig? Oh, bro, bring that pig. Yeah.
Nice and fat, nice and fatty. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it already.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the thing. The only thing I miss is fishing because I with the kids it's kind of busy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
hard to get. I don't get in the water much, but I will when they get a little
Yeah.
bit older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Jason, I'm gonna throw this at you right here. This is man. Tell me about this. I'm gonna take you flashback, brah, on this Rapa Nui and your experience and what you remember of this project.
Yeah, when it popped up, and I realized Kevin Costner and Kevin Reynolds, who was going to direct it, were behind it, and Kevin Costner's production company, TIG Productions, and I was like, wow, this is going to be epic. And they actually wanted to film on the island, and I was like, wow, this could be an amazing thing. So I think at the time, it's well, of course, being Asian American, Polynesian. Not much opportunities. You're like, wow, how in the world are they going to market this? So I just went in. I auditioned for it. They asked me to play the lead, and I was like, wow, this is incredible because it's one of those things. Like, I think it was the point in my career where I wanted to like get in touch with my culture. The Polynesian culture, and I thought this could be the opportunity to be around a lot of Polynesian people. And it turned out there was like a 40 count contingent of Maori actors who were coming to play in this film in all the range of parts. And it was life-changing. It was like 6 months down there filming on Rapa Nui. And I had in the middle of it, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, was premiering in the Man Chinese Theater. And so it was like this it was a surreal because I'm in the middle of there for like, I must have been there like 4 or 5 months. And just the isolation, just the beautiful. You could see, it's so isolated, you can see the curvature of the earth as you look at the horizon on the ocean. And it was like, wow. So they put me on Kevin Costner's jet. We fly from there to like Acapulco or something, fill up gas. And then from there, go fly directly into Arizona or something and get your papers done, all your immigration. And then from there, you go to Burbank. And then the car just pulls up right outside the jet, and you get off the jet. And in this jet, you get like, I was like blown away. You get like a lounge, yeah. You get like a bed basically. So they tuck you in. You get like your own bed. You can lay down. It's like I was like, damn, it's first class, right? It's like local boy, Kanaka like going, wow, what the hell? So many, and that was such, and that's such a contradiction with where we were. It was so basic, and the needs were basic, and it's like, at the time, Rapa Nui only had dirt roads, so the only time you had any kind of road was these tile roads, kind of like a linked tiles within the town, which is so tiny, and everything was like, I think maybe it was like 2,500 people on the island at the time.
Wow.
And we snapped up as much resources as we could. There was like maybe one flight coming in a week into that island.
Wow.
and it was right at that cusp where, things were starting to change, and I think the film kind of elevated the tourist, population. So more ships started coming in, more flights started coming in, and but amazing experience. I mean, just tore up my feet. We're running barefoot on all this like type lava, and I had stitches. They had to like they I remember the doctor. I had tore my foot up so bad. They had a syringe like this long, and he puts it in my foot, and he like numbs it, and then he starts going to work and he starts stitching it, and like, and so I'm stitches like, and then we put like moleskin pads on our feet, and then, but it was raw. I mean, we wake up like 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. Go up to the location. There's all these tents, and then each tent is your changing room. And then you get into your little hammy, your little like malo thing, and then at that time like all the brothers, all the Maori guys, we were all trying to find sticks and stuff. We make a bonfire like in the middle of the tent, and we just warm ourselves by the fire. And then they take this ochre paint, you're freezing, all goose, all chicken skin everywhere. You're so cold, and you're getting all this ochre coloring, and you're like you're covering your skin with this paint, which is the makeup for the what do you call that? The race for the egg.
Wow.
And I remember just hanging off like 1,000-foot cliffs by a carabiner and like a little hammy little harness on my waist, because you had to hide all that stuff, And it was just, the wind was just howling, and there's like one little like safety net, looked like on cargo net on the bottom. And you're like, it was nuts. I mean,
no fatalities.
I think some of my filming experiences was off the charts, like that kind of like real remote, real balls out, like it's funny because I was working on Mulan, right? I was working on Mulan in New Zealand, and some of these young guys, the young Asian American actors, one night of rain and a little bit cold. Complaining, want to call like the SAG, and they want to like mutiny, and I was like, wow. I said, I endured like years of that stuff, and one night these young kids, they kind of handle, and I was like, I don't know, they're kind of soft nowadays.
That's like what we say. When you look at, and only in pidgin, you only get two words. You just go, brah, no can, brah. No can. Just no can. So Jason,
great memories. Yeah.
Three movies really stand out in my mind of all the wonderful projects you've been associated with. Rapa Nui was one of them that stayed with me for a long time. And for our folks that are with us here today, if you haven't seen Rapa Nui, go find it. Rapa Nui, a beautiful, beautiful story. And then a map of the human heart.
Human heart, yeah.
Human heart, mm-hmm. Yeah. You being an Inuit, a native, and that one must also have been, that was a whole different change in terms of the geography, of where that was shot. Also in cold, frigid. It was in Alaska. Where was that shot?
It was in the Canadian Arctic.
Oh yeah.
We launched from Montreal. And then up there went up to Baffin Island, and we arrived in this town called Iqaluit, and that was kind of our base camp. And from Iqaluit, which was above the 60-degree Arctic Circle, we would take Twin Otter airplanes to the location, and it was sometimes we'd land, and it like all of a sudden like this whiteout would come. So it was like instantly back on the plane, get the hell out of there, because you weren't going to be able to film that day. Wow. And it was so unpredictable, but it was one of the most beautiful places that I've seen on the planet. It's just because the stark nature of like the turquoises and the whites and the black of the rock, and there's no trees. And I remember one night we were all the crew, and I was the only cast member that time on this location. And it was some kind of outpost cabin in the middle of nowhere. And we were all bunked up together. We were all like hanging our wet clothes on these lines, and there was a kitchen where we were all eating kind of like a stew or soup, and there was these location guys that were they took a chunk of a glacier, I mean a iceberg. They chipped off a chunk of iceberg and hauled and brought it back in the boat, and they put it in this big stainless steel pot, and they let it melt, and we got to drink this iceberg water that had melted, and it was just, you could taste like all the minerals, and you kind of like, it was almost like drinking coffee, because you drink a little bit and all of a sudden you kind of feel all the electrolytes like kind of like
Wow.
like you're tweaking, and it was like, whoa. It's like, it was like an elixir, and stuff like that you don't get to experience. And that night they built all our indigenous boats out of some what was it, seal skin, and there was all the props guys who did this amazing work duplicating these native boats. And next morning we came out and it was torn to shreds. It's like polar bear had come in and eaten all the seal skin off the boats. And we were like, what are we gonna shoot? We don't, we were supposed to use those boats for the shoot that day. So it was, that kind of like real, kind of out there, like, in the middle of nowhere kind of places, which, really make for great stories. I mean, we just banded together and, tried to pull off, what we could for the day. And just, amazing things. Like, I got put on this this piece of ice that the locations guys had anchored. They hooked onto it, and then they slowly pulled it with two big Zodiac safety boats, and they slowly pulled it, and then they anchored it for the night onto the flow edge, and which is the hard parts of the coastline of ice. And then the next day we used it, and they put me on that piece of ice, which was maybe about 40 feet by like maybe 60 feet. And they put me on it, and then they unhooked it, and they just let it float out. And then we were filming on all these long lenses and telephoto lenses and stuff. And it was like, and and they kept trying to redo the scene. So all I had was a little walkie-talkie. I had no like flotation device, nothing, like little walkie-talkie. And he's like, okay, let's do it again. And Vincent Ward's like in his Kiwi accent, yeah, do it again, mate. He's like, let's do it again. And it was like, we keep doing it again. I'm like, and I get on the thing. I said, dude, you guys got to stop. Come get me, because the water, we started getting into the channel, and the water gets rough in the channel. And there's all this other pieces of ice hitting that ice. And it's like black water, right? Freezing. You cannot survive 2 minutes.
Oh.
And the water, the waves started coming over the edge of this thing, and the ice started going like that, and I was like, holy cow! And it's like, and he says, one more, and so okay, we do one more, and then next thing I know, I see these like Zodiacs just beeline to me, just like, getting to retrieve me, and then we jumped in and like headed out, but.
Oh my god.
Epic. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if any other, like, many actors get that kind, like, get to do that kind of stuff. But, I mean, it was
No
right
one.
up my alley, too, like, I love the adventure.
Yeah.
But, there's so many stories like that out in the tundra, out up there. It was just an amazing experience. And I was 25.
Man.
So it was like, that was the beginning. And, it had all these actors from, international cast. So that's kind of, I think, for the most part, that really set the tone, because that was like, for me, as in my career, because I was the lead, and it was my first lead actor role, and I was 25, I remember, and like, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to go to Cannes Film Festival. I want to, kind of like incorporate, my talents within that kind of international artist kind of colony. So it was really set me on the path.
Wow. So that's 1992, Map of the Human Heart. And then in 1993, this happened, huh? This happened.
Yeah.
This happened.
Yeah.
I know that you must have so many stories about Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. How was it that they came to you to do this, and what was that process for you?
Yeah, it's funny, I had this conversation the other day. It was an interesting story how it all came about. But it was like I was doing an audition for this film called Last of the Mohicans with that the Michael Mann was directing. And I went in, and Bonnie Timmerman, who was the casting director, she brought me in. She's, oh, this is great. And I thought I did a wonderful audition. She goes, oh man, you were great. But I said, the Mohican advisor says you don't look Mohican enough. And it's funny, it's interesting because as an Asian actor or of ethnic descent, you don't ask a guy from England, can you play in a American Western cowboy? You don't let, and it's like, and this conversation came up kind of recently. It was like, yeah, that's right, And I remember being suggested for The Last Samurai. They said, do you have Japanese? Are you Japanese? I said, no. It's like, can you make it up? I said, no, I don't want to make it up. It's like, I'm not Japanese. But I said, we're all from China. I said, oh, that was the thing, right? It was like, wow, how come all these Caucasians, are you Irish? Well, you're not Irish. You can't play Irish then. It's like, and it's that thing, right? It's like, wow, well, how come you got to ask the Asian, Polynesian guy, like, if he's like, this? I said, you do know that the Native Americans came from the Ice Age over the past and like from Asia, right?
Hello.
So anyway, Rob Cohen, who was the director of Dragon, he said, I'm looking for this actor to play Bruce Lee. And he asked Bonnie Timmerman. Bonnie Timmerman said, there was this kid who came in. He has Chinese background, and he might be your guy because he did a great audition, but he wasn't, right. I think the advisor for the Mohicans said he doesn't look that, he looks maybe too Oriental. And so she suggested me to him, and he called me, and I was between agents at the time. So he called me directly, and he said, I have a project I'd be interested in meeting you with. And they heard about Map of the Human Heart, and so he said, I said, what's the movie? He says, oh, it's called Dragon, but we'll tell you more about it when you get there. So I went into this meeting, and it was most of the executives were all women, and he says, the Bruce Lee story. And I sat in that room with my jaw open, thinking like, no way. I said, I don't even know why I'm here. And I said, because I'm not I don't do martial arts, and the most martial arts I've done, which is non-combative, was Tai Chi. And he said, no, just hear us out, and listen. I said, because he was like such an icon for me, my father. My father used to take us to all his movies, and he was one of the most dynamic performers, bar none. And I remember just being like lit by his movies, and I think a majority of people would, also think so. And so when he told me, and he gave me the script, and he said, go home and read it, and let me know what you think. And he called me back like a week later, and he says, have you read it? I said, no. And he goes, and he goes, why not? I said, I'm not sure if I think I'm kind of afraid of it, actually. And he goes, why? He goes, we'll help you out, we'll give you support. I said, no. I said, this is like huge for me. I don't know if I can do the guy justice, and because I didn't have that training, and we grew up in Hawaii. You scrap, you get into stuff, but it's like trying to play Rudolph Nureyev,
Right,
if you're not a
yeah.
dancer.
Yeah.
So it was like, so he said, oh well, take your time then, and I know he wanted me to read it. So he calls me a week later again. He goes, have you read it? I says, no. And he goes, come on, man. I was like, you know what? He goes, and I said, I don't know. He goes, you know what? You know why you're the guy for the part? I said, why? He says, you're the only guy of Asian background that just doesn't want to do it because he's afraid that he'll make a mistake.
Oh.
He goes, every other guy I've interviewed would jump at the chance.
Yeah.
Would like, and he goes, and that's as a director, he goes, that's the reason for him to pause. And I said, okay, so I read it. I said, it's good. I said, of course it's great. You know, you got Linda Lee, his widow, like, you know, backing up everything and giving the consent on this film, and everything was porno. And I said, okay. I said, if you promise me, you gotta, you know, back me up. I need the help. It's like and he says, absolutely. So we said, okay, let's do it. And he goes,
Sweet.
okay, we got a screen test. The studio, Universal wants you to do. And so I prepared. I trained for like 2 months with a stunt coordinator, and he trained me for the 2 months, and then we did the screen test. And also during that time, I had met with a bunch of Bruce's students, and Linda Lee said all these guys wanted to know who was playing Bruce. So I went around to these guys and met all of them, and one individual kind of stood out, and his name was Jerry Poteet. And he showed me a move that kind of like rocked my world, and I was like, it was so dynamic, and so I was like jerked like involuntarily, like out of my shorts, and I was just like, oh my God. I said, that's it. I said, that's the electrifying thing and the dynamics that I saw in Bruce. And so I asked him to kind of come on, and so we ended up doing the screen test, and it turned out well. I had like a nervous breakdown like while we were training for that screen test, because I knew that the guy who trained me did not have Jeet Kune Do background. He didn't train under Bruce, so a lot of the training didn't feel authentic, and I knew it, and I was like, man, this is going bad. It's like, and I felt mounting pressure because I knew I wasn't on the right track, but I was doing okay for the screen test. But it wasn't gonna go past that as far as a full blown like performance, and I was like, oh man, I got to, you know, I'm always trying to be honest with myself, like, you know, you're not gonna pull it off. Anyway, we did the screen test. It got greenlit. The studio said, go ahead, make it, and then I took like 4 months with this Jerry Poteet to train in the proper manner. Proper philosophy, keep in mind, the mindset had to be at that place where what Bruce was going for, and it set me on a whole another range of things that changed my life again. I had a lot of life-changing film experiences that kind of rocked my world. So yeah, it took me into a lot of like that philosophy, and it's kind of why I bought a place out in the Kuivis out here, because it was a sensibility that you go back to nature, and nature will teach you all the things you need.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things that I always take from it, and it's like it was just yesterday that I learned these things, was he said the thing you grow as you mature, as you get older, the thing that will really be your assets is your sensitivity and your awareness. And I said, you know, as a martial artist, as a human being, it's like those are the two things that you have to work on. And so he says, by being in nature, by working with, you know, plants and stuff, you start understanding that, you start feeling that there's a growth there. And you know, so I've been gardening and stuff, and doing this for like over 25 years now. So it really stung me in that way, that in order to be a proper fighter, I had to learn not only to deconstruct something and destroy something, but you got to learn to heal. You got to learn to put back, give back, you know, like give life instead of take life, or have that balance.
What great stories there, Jason. Wow.
Yeah.
Great
Good fun.
stories. Yeah.
It's really fun.
As we come near our break here, I did want to acknowledge some friends that have popped in. You talk about the Evie over here. Kavika. Kaya Apo.
Kavika!
Hey.
Kavika with Kula Evie with Sean Pimentel, Lehua Kalima, and Kavika Kayapo. They just came through, and sweet music. Kavika, aloha, brother. Thank you for popping in and hanging out with us a little while. We have quite a few friends that have popped in, and I just want to acknowledge here we have Noilani. My husband and I love this movie. So many different emotions came through. Well done, cast on Olelo, Hawaii. And after we come back from the break, we're going to go into the wind and the reckoning and talking a little bit more about that. But you already have folks that have seen the movie and have definitely enjoyed it. Let me see. Also, here's one. Waianae boy, Charles Kupahu saying Aloha Monday, Kamaka, and Gangi. That's what you say. Gangi, what's up? A lot of comments coming in. Here is our Laia girl, Auntie Jerry Kuhia. She is our golden songbird. She has a beautiful voice, and she lives here in, actually, she's in Carson, California, originally from Laia. And so she's jumped in there as well. And there is a Bella Singh again, talking about what you just shared. You're so pono, humble, yes, lessons in life, mahalo. Responding to some of the stories that you did share as well. And let's see, I think I pretty much got all of our friends. There is Mohala jumping in. She's saying aloha, aloha. She is our Trader Joe's spy. She works at Trader Joe's, and anything new that comes up, hey, Kamaka, they got this new stuff, and she's the one that called me, so I like that. Yeah.
So let me know too.
She's my go-to. When you go back home to Hawaii, you gotta take the kaine. You gotta take
yeah,
right?
every time.
And so I gotta hit Trader Joe's. So I always call up Mohala. Hey, what's new? And she does my list. She's so sweet, so sweet. Okay, Johnny Rocks Hollywood jumps in saying aloha. What's up, Johnny? Thank you for joining us, man. Thanks for jumping in. And Kavika says, please ask David to share about the waterfall that was dry that suddenly started to flow. Definitely. Let's, when we come back from the break, we are going to do that. If you just joined us, mahalo for joining us. We are talking to cast members of The Wind and the Reckoning, along with director David Cunningham. And these are all just beautiful people that are sharing part of their day with us. We're going to take a little pause, and we will be right back with the Monday Talk Story with the Sandwich Islands Social Network. Brown here. Hope you're enjoying our video podcast for today. But I wanted to share with you that across the nation, Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders are being disproportionately affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah. The Southern California Pacific Islander Community Response Team aims to provide information and resources to help our community stay healthy and safe. Make a conscious decision to take care of yourself and your community. This tells people around you that you care about your well-being and show them that you care about theirs. Now, how can you do that? Well, one way is by getting vaccinated. Yeah, get vaccinated for COVID-19. Get boosted. Now, you can get all the information about all of this on pacificislanderhealth.org. You see it right there. This message is brought to you by your ohana at the Sandwich Islands Social Network and our friends at the Southern California Pacific Islander Community Response Team. Aloha. Aloha, everybody. The Heritage of Aloha Festival, May 20th and 21st in Santa Fe Springs, is rolling around. Want you to put that on your calendar, mark it down, because it's going to be a wonderful weekend showcasing the heritage of Hawaii and Polynesia. It's free. Parking is also free. So join us. Continuous live music, dancing, island cuisine, outdoor marketplace, spam musubi eating contest, and ukulele contest sponsored by Ohana Ukuleles. Big mahalos to them. The Hoilina Foundation presents Heritage of Aloha Festival in Santa Fe Springs, California, May 20th and 21st. I'll be on stage. I'll be MC along with Aolani Prua. It's going to be good time. See you there. Ahui ho!
story I need to tell you is true. I offer and dedicate it to my people, the native Hawaiian.
Ini o lili uka. Moi. Hawaii! We don't speak that shit. Speak English, boy. You are to shoot on sight, regardless of weapon, gender, or age. Mai ai ka inu I loko ko uwai ka ungika. E le ku ana. Yala ko o makino kako. Yala ko o makake aina.
Call-out knows this land. I wouldn't underestimate him. Yes, well, you're the firepower and the numbers.
Where is our rebel bastard?
With me, my husband, Ko'olau. With me, my child, Kalei. With me until the final disappearance.
You are the trophy. He obsesses, and he will not stop until you are dead.
Whew. Let's talk about this with none other than the director of The Wind and the Reckoning, David Cunningham. Aloha, David.
Aloha, Kamaka. Good to be with you.
You know, I forgot to mention that Jason is a Pearl City High School graduate, public school. We like public school because I went public school. I don't want to mention Kamehameha is private school, but because Hawaiians are involved, it's all good. It's okay.
And David,
and I was just going to say, David von Kona boy from Kona Waina. So, hey, we're all in the hood over here. You know, David, if we were to Google your name, which I did last night, and you have an amazing resume of incredible projects and movies that you have worked with. And one of the things that noted about many of the films, and I'm going to quote, that you're a creator of several nation-changing campaigns with a focus on the indigenous. And I can think of no better description of your involvement, and correct me if I'm wrong here, with The Wind and the Reckoning. Give us just a real snapshot here of your involvement, how the story came to you, and how this just blossomed to where we are today, David, please.
Sure. Well, first off, hearing Jason's stories, I think I was too soft on Jason when we were making this film. Now
I know.
hear all the stuff that he's gone through. No, we put him through the ringer too. Both these guys have been amazing, Jason and Lindsay, not just through the making of the film during the pandemic, an off the grid ranch, all living together and on a no budget type of situation, but they've been with us on the road, screening after screening, just pouring their heart into it, and so grateful. And Jason's been bringing his beautiful family with him, and so it's been an amazing journey, the making and the getting this out there. So we really are grateful, Kamaka, for you and your audience for tuning in and supporting us. Every little bit helps big time. So yeah, we're really grateful. Well, the origin story of this was, I was working on a movie 20-something years ago, and was introduced to John Fusco, screenwriter who wrote Young Guns and Hidalgo and Forbidden Kingdom, and just a real legend. And we were on his farm in Vermont and on horseback, and he was saying, "Hey, David, have you heard about Ko'olau?" And I was embarrassed because I grew up in Hawaii and I'm a history fan, and I hadn't heard about Ko'olau, not 20-something years ago. And he had read about it in a short story when he was actually on his honeymoon in Kona back in the 80s, and it stuck with him. So over the years, we've talked about it, and we were trying to figure out kind of the way in. And then Jason and I have been friends for a long time, and we've been trying to work together. Start chatting a little bit with Jason, and then along the way, we had the privilege to meet Lindsay. But really, the breakthrough came when Pete Ilani's memoirs, which was translated into English, which didn't really happen until early 2000s, and hearing it from her voice. So the words that Lindsay speaks are the actual words from Pete Ilani.
Wow.
And so when we were able to kind of have that view in that firsthand view of what happened, according to her, it just kind of sparked. And then John and I cranked it out and developed the project. And we were on our way to make it a couple of times as a bigger budget project. And, you know, making movies is very fragile. One little thing goes wrong and it all kind of falls apart very easily. And during the pandemic and everything got shut down, I was supposed to go to South Africa for another movie, and that all got shut down. And I couldn't help but think about this story. It was just nagging at me because it takes place during a pandemic, you know, government overreach, racism that came out of the whole situation. I was like, oh, this is so relevant right now. What if we do this micro budget and call up my friends because everyone's sitting around and no one's working. And so I called up Jason, called up my producing partners, and then we started calling around crew, asking around about who would be right for this. And some of my producer partners had just worked with Lindsay on the Netflix show you were talking about, Finding Ohana, and they're like, "Oh, you got to check her out. She's amazing." And we did, and of course she was. And before you know it, we were all camping out together in Kohala, and first movie to be made post-pandemic. And it was all kind of surreal, but also beautiful. Hard work, but amazing. And I think we all just poured our hearts into it. And so it's definitely been a challenge, but a beautiful one.
Wow. Here we have Evan Sharp in Pacific Northwest. My son-in-law, he goes Sandwich Island podcast. He's so ono. There you go, bro. Thanks for popping in there, all the way from Vancouver, Washington, right there. The Ohana
Wow.
checking us out. Also, some great friends of ours and great supporters of the Sandwich Island Social Network. Mehe Ula Music, and that's Reba Maraboto. That she says the story is so powerful. Mehe Ula Music brings in Hawaiian music to the Temecula area down in Southern California. Kula Iwi just passed through. Bobby Madero's, a number of Maui folks like Kaleo Phillips was just through, and that was Mehe Ula Music and Reba them. In fact, Reba says the love of Pi'ilani and the Ohana just really showed the power of love. Whew. Strong stuff over here. Love it. And C. Honda says everyone who I have heard watch this movie has loved it. Absolutely. Absolutely. We want to, let's see, someone else said, Kavika, I don't want to pass. I said, ask to share about the waterfall that was dry that suddenly started to flow. Share about that, David.
Sure. So because we were during the pandemic, we were very limited on where we could film. We were basically filming on this ranch and some areas just near it. And as you know, having lived on Big Island, we got plenty of amazing waterfalls, but we weren't allowed to go to any of them by the government.
Hmm.
And my son was hiking up a creek near where we were filming and found a small waterfall that was just off of some private land that we could have access to. So we went there to scout it, and it was dry. And you know, Kohala usually is not dry, but this time it was dry, and it was a little bit of a drought going on. And the water was kind of murky, and it was just a little bit of a trickle. And the team was telling me, David, this is our only option. And I was heartbroken because, you know, that scene is actually taken from a photograph, real photograph of Pi'ilani bathing and ko'olau watching. And so we really wanted it to be special, and the relationship between the two of them, and so they were trying to convince me that, oh, this is going to be intimate, you know. I was like, oh shucks, okay, well, so that morning we showed up, and it had rained a little bit the night before, and as we're setting up the camera, we just watched the waterfall just grow and grow and grow until it grew to what you saw
Wow.
in the film itself. And so we were like, yeah, the creators watching our back. And then we had to throw Lindsay in that freezing water, and she had to like do her thing, and she was amazing. So we were able to pull that off. But yeah, we definitely had some blessings there and some favor to
Aw,
see this thing on through. Yeah.
great story. Thank you, Kavika, for asking us to share that story about that. Amazing, amazing. The Talk Story here on the San Magellan Network is uh, made possible by a great friend of mine. That's Nate Jones, who's my production assistant and talent coordinator. He's the one that's been communicating with everyone here, and he is in Honolulu. He lives here in LA with me, but he's in Honolulu. He's a Kaneohe boy, so he's with his parents in Kaneohe. But he flew over to Honolulu from LAX, and he told me that he said, "Aloha, Lindsay, Jason, and David. Watched The Wind and the Reckoning on Hawaiian Airlines flight from LA to Honolulu the other day. Loved it. Right on." Uh,
Yay.
hey, Nate, don't come home until you call me because you have to bring some omiyage for me home too now. I get my list too.
Oh,
So,
Kamaka,
yo,
why are you doing shout outs?
yo,
We want to shout out to Hawaiian Airlines because they've been a sponsor for us, and they've been traveling us all over the place. They've been
beautiful.
amazing partners. So as we're shouting out to the community, just want to give them one. So mahalo.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Absolutely. Beautiful to hear that. And so we want to uh, let our friends know exactly where they can see it. And there are some showings that are coming up. And I have this right over here. And you can go to the website. And I got the website. Boom, Kanani. There you go. So that's the the website windandreckoning.com, and you will see that coming up May 11th as part of the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival at the Regal LA Live in downtown LA on Olympic Boulevard. And you can go find them online. You can get tickets online, and that's coming up May 11th, followed by May 12th at us in Santa Monica. So there are two showings right here in Southern California that we want to let all of our ohana know. Go out to see it. It's in the middle of the week, and it's in the evening time. So go check it out. And that's Thursday and Friday coming up, May 11th and 12th. And then for our friends in Portland, there's a showing on the 12th as well, Waco, Texas. San Diego, they're coming down to you. We have some San Diego friends as well. And then over on the East Coast, New York premiere. So please let all of your ohana know wherever they are. Everybody spread the word. The Coconut Wireless is alive and well, you guys, right? And that's how we communicate. Everybody just tell. We're really good at Portuguese. So, hey, Portuguese is baga, okay? Portuguese is baga. And go to windandreckoning.com. There's a lot of information on there that you can read about and learn about the story of Pi'ilani and Ko'olau. It is an amazing, amazing, powerful, powerful, powerful story. Some folks have just popped in over here, and I don't want to because they get mad at me. They call me up, "Hey, bro, I went to say something." What's something that. I think I got everybody. And again, Kalamai, if I didn't get around to you, Noilani is on. Aloha, Noilani. Thanks for joining us as well. Here is Noilani. There she's going. My husband and I loved, all caps over here, this movie. So many different emotions came through. Well done to cast on Olelo, Hawaii. Let's talk about that. Just so I know we're coming pretty much to the end of our time together, but that's okay. If you have the time a little bit more, if you don't mind, share with me, like I was saying at the beginning, when I saw the movie in November and I heard the Olelo, for me as a Hawaiian, major chicken skin. I had chicken skin on my chicken skin. And Waimaka, man, I started to tear up. It was so beautiful. Now, I'm told that it was like within a 16-day period, this movie was shot. And you all were in this bubble during COVID. And how was the challenge of Olelo? How did you meet with that? Lindsay, tell us about how you met that challenge with the language.
Yeah, it was very difficult. I think coming from the start of it as a Hawaiian, I think any Hawaiian would feel the same way. As soon as we found out that pretty much about 80% of the script was going to be in Olelo, Hawaii, we freaked out because that's a lot of weight. You know, there's nothing like this out there that's a film of this size telling a true Hawaiian story like this with the language. And me, you know, growing up in Hawaii, going to Kamehameha schools, I knew the language, but not fluent and not to the point of being able to perform it. And as you watch the movie, you'll see Pi'ilani has a very heavy and strong presence and performance. So bringing that to the language as well was a lot in 2 weeks that you had to prepare. So it was stressful. And, you know, Jason and I talk about how there were a few moments we thought about running away and saying, no, you know, this is too much, you know, it's not a lot of time. And as a Hawaiian, I didn't want to do wrong by our people, by our language. So that was a responsibility on our shoulders. And I think Jason and I both realized that, and we realized this was an opportunity to preserve our language, to learn, you know, being Hawaiians, and then to share this story because it's such an important story. And we both have the heart and the discipline to put into this story, into the language. So we dove head first, went for it. I mean, hours and hours. We each had a kumu that we learned with. And I mean, I thought my head was going to explode. I was trying so hard to just like stare at these lines. And, you know, it's not even just memorizing it. There's a cadence and, you know, there's also the time that it's in the 1800s, so they speak a little differently. It's not even like modern day. So marrying all those things was really hard, but we worked. Our kumu, my kumu Leinala, she was so good. She was patient with me, but she was rough when she needed to make sure I was learning, and we were so blessed that they were on set with us. Every single line that we said, they had a headphone in that they could tell us, yeah, you're good, or nope, gotta do it again. So that saved us, you know, and, you know, you can practice so much outside, you know, when we were off of camera, we were practicing. But when you get on the set and there's all these things and you're in costume and there's lights and there's cameras, it's hard sometimes, you know, your lines kind of flub. And so it was nice to have the kumus as a backup to make sure that we were doing it right. Because, I mean, it would keep me awake at night thinking about the idea of messing up these lines and there was no fixing it. So it was so nice to have them there. And it was a fight, but we pushed through. And I remember, I mean, that waterfall shoot was actually our last day of shooting. And I remember Jason and I, we finished that and we just looked at each other and we're like, we did it. Like, we were so scared and yet we did it. We literally did it. So we were so happy. And then obviously moving to the point where this film has got out there to Hawaii, to speakers, and getting the thumbs up, knowing that they approve, that they love it, that it's bringing tears to people's eyes. Yeah. That was worth every moment of stress that we went to, because that was what we were doing it for, to share this story, to, you know, affect the people, and that's what's happening.
Wow. Jason, talk to me about the Olelo and you had some major
No, it was I often tell everyone that it was one of the biggest challenges in my career, just because of the time constraint and you know, not thinking you had enough time, but you know, with David's encouragement, and I love telling this story. I called David. I said, dude, I don't think I can do this. I had been studying with one of the kumu for about four days or something in, and I was like, I'm just doing the drills with the you know, with all the trying to get my mouth to shape all the different vowels and all the consonants, and I was like, that I'm like a baby. I'm like the baby steps of that, right? And I was like, and here we are, like a week and a half out, And I was like, no, there's no way. So I called David in a panic. I said, hey, I think you need a native speaker or someone who's fluent because it would be better for the project because I'm like lacking confidence. And then he like stuck it to me. He said, just stick in there. Just stay in there. He goes, you got another week because we're going to push the Olelo back a week into shooting. And I was like, a week? I would like 6 months. It's like, you kind of, you always kind of want to be in a place where you don't have that like that nervousness. Like you would have liked to be fluent in order to act because the acting part is so tricky. You really want to have your awareness and your sensitivity, your eyes and ears and everything in your reaction, clicking. And sometimes when there's too much thinking going on, it's like all that can be subdued. So we somehow found a way with everyone's support to really kind of like get it right. And the Kumu were all nitpicky. I mean, I've never been so nitpicked about a language or an accent or a dialect ever. And it was so good though. It was so good because you knew it's like, when it gets out, you're not gonna have these other Hawaiians going, lousy. It's like, and I think that's as a performer, as a Hawaiian, and you just want it to be respectful and give respect to the culture. And I think thankfully we were able to do it, and no easy task. Not at all. Just sweating.
Yeah, my song, Sweating to the Olelo. Yeah, sweat.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, man.
Just sharing the mo'olelos, sharing the stories behind it. When our friends go and get a chance to see the movie, and I sincerely hope that everyone will have an opportunity to do that. Hopefully, these stories will also help you a deeper appreciation of what you see and what you hear and what you feel with the wind and the reckoning. David, anything else you'd like to share before we heli on here? I wanted to make sure that our friends knew that it's coming to LA and the rest of the cities. Yeah,
just to echo what you said, Kamaka, just everyone coming out makes a big difference. And I know it's a lot of effort. Our friends in LA got to, get on that freeway and find the babysitter, all that. But it really makes a difference. We are 100% Hawaii made, 100% Hawaii crew. I think all of our actors, except for 2, are from Hawaii. And supporting this film allows us to make more films in Hawaii. And we really know that there is so many stories to tell, but we just got to continue to prove that there's a supporting audience out there. Mm-hmm. So every single ticket makes a difference, every Facebook alert, all of that. So please show up and you get to meet these lovely people here on the red carpet.
Be there.
And we want to say big mahalo, Kamaka, to you and everybody who's tuned in.
Our pleasure.
Kavika, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, Kavika. Thanks for weighing in. He's traveled with us on Kavika. So.
Okay. Talk about shout outs. I got to do to our Kona Ohana over there to my buddy Clayton Campbell, my Roosevelt high school classmate, my best friend through the years. He and his wife Napua, and his daughter Carrie, who married David's cousin over here, Winton Nicholson, and I was at their wedding, and so there's that connection right there, David, to us guys, and Jason through our friend Ron Sorrell, those days up there, and Lindsay, Maui is so beautiful. I have some friends that Kioki Ruas lives up. I don't know if you know Kioki. He's a musician. Plays. He has a studio up there. Yeah, and he lives up country as well. He's a good buddy of ours, and so that's our Maori connection as well. I did want to, and one more. I have some comments coming in, and before we say aloha, and Let me see. This is Melissa. She says, "Aloha kako. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I didn't see the Ko'olau sisters Naholo Papa in the IMDM. Not taking it personally. The story of how Dole held her at gunpoint to take her to Ko'olau is in the Hawaiian language newspaper database. Maybe Uncle Kamako remembers the story from the Sin Crew days. We told that story. Love you guys, Jason." Scott Lee, Melissa, great friend of ours, as and Charles Kupahu, what great conversation. We go and see the movie. Yeah, take the wife and take the keiki, take the boys, go see it. And you guys were in Vegas. You're going to be down in San Diego. And once again, just check the calendar, you guys, and make it. And now Michelle, she goes, "Oh, now I want to go see the movie too." Yes, go see them. Again, mahalo. Lindsay, Jason, David, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us here on the Monday Talk Story with the Sandwich Island Social Network. Please check us out, Sandwich Island, under sandislands.org. You can find out more of what we do in the community to link up with our community. And I did want to say also, just real fast, Cisa Gray is a dear friend of mine. She played Patch. And the whole Gray family, are great friends. Teeny and the brother is also with the Common Kings, great group, Mata, and so we all hang together as well, the Gray family. So shout out to unfortunate Patch, who had an unfortunate end, but we won't go into that with Patch.
I love Cisa.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. I don't want to go into that as well. But mahalo, everybody. Thank you so much. You guys have a great rest of your day. God bless everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today to the Ohana on the Monday Talk Story Show. You've been watching the cast and members of The Wind and the Reckoning. We're all going to go into our green room right now. There we go. Hang out, guys. We'll be right with you. Give us a couple seconds as we link through here. Hold up.